After on purpose spilling a drink all over his girlfriend of 6 years, the man coldly told her the truth. He said he was only with her because she looked like his late first love, and that in all their years together, he had never even touched her.
你根本不配。
Heartbroken, the woman stumbled into the snow and collapsed in despair as she remembered a recent intimate night with a mysterious man. Just as she gave up hope, a handsome stranger appeared with an umbrella and carried her to safety. It was only then she realized he was the blind date her aunt had set up, the one she had stood up. With her grandmother's health failing, the woman explained she had just broken up with her boyfriend and needed to get married quickly to fulfill her grandmother's final wish. The man listened and, without hesitation, said they should get married. The next second, they were walking out of the marriage registration office, certificates in hand. He immediately took a picture of their certificates and posted it online. But what he didn't know was the woman thought this was only temporary. She suggested a 6-month trial marriage, promising they could keep it a secret so he wouldn't be stopped from finding other women. Later that day at a company party, the woman's co-workers were gossiping about their mysterious new CEO. They said he was incredibly handsome but had shockingly gotten married that very morning. One of her co-workers then showed her the CEO's social media post, a picture of 2 marriage certificates. Just then, the new CEO was introduced, and as he walked down the grand staircase, she realized her new husband was the boss of her entire company. At a company party, the woman received a call from her doctor about her grandmother's condition, but her junior co-worker interrupted, bragging about the handsome new CEO. Just then, a rival reminded everyone the department party was mandatory. At the after-party, her co-workers played a game of truth or dare. When it was her turn, she was dared to unbuckle a man's belt. Unwilling to pick a co-worker, she looked up just as the new CEO arrived. Feeling drunk and bold, she walked up to him and asked if he could help her. Confused but willing, he agreed, and she unbuckled his belt in front of everyone. As she handed it back, she drunkenly thanked him, calling him husband. Her co-workers were stunned and accused her of being drunk and disrespectful to the new boss. In the car later, she asked him why a man like him would marry her. He explained that he didn't need a strategic marriage alliance to secure his position.
所有的事情我都会处理好，所以你不用担心。
Back at his house, as she changed, her ex-boyfriend called. Her new husband watched as she told her ex that a proper ex should act like he's dead and that their relationship was over for good. The next morning, the woman woke up and made breakfast. Her husband told her that since he didn't have a live-in housekeeper, he would hire one now that she was moving in. She quickly explained that she wasn't moving in, saying she wasn't used to the idea yet.
躲着我，避着我，你一辈子都适应不了。
She agreed but reminded him it was only for 6 months. At breakfast, her husband got a call from a friend who was shocked he was married and mentioned the girl he saved 6 years ago. The husband hung up, and the woman noticed he was in a bad mood, but she didn't know why. Later, she tied her hair up with a red ribbon, explaining that her grandmother used to do that for her. He told her it was beautiful, but she didn't realize he was remembering the girl he saved who wore a similar ribbon. At the hospital, the woman practiced calling him husband, so it would sound natural in front of her grandmother. When they entered the room, her grandmother immediately recognized him as her new husband. He presented the grandmother with an expensive jade bracelet, which she at first refused. He persuaded her by saying it was for her granddaughter and that her happiness was the most important thing. At the office, a jealous coworker taunted the woman for unbuckling the CEO's belt. The manager then assigned the woman to assist the CEO with an important meeting with French clients. She stood up for herself, defending her work ethic and the CEO's reputation. That evening, at the business meeting, the client's representative complimented the woman's abilities, telling her husband he was lucky to have such a capable employee. A man tried to flirt with the billionaire's wife, but the husband fiercely interrupted, declaring that she was his woman. The wife, flustered by the attention, told her husband she was still not used to her new identity. He pulled her close, told her she didn't need to please anyone, and leaned in like he might kiss her, asking if she wanted to try feeling intimate. He promised she would get used to her new role soon. The next day at work, she smiled when he sent her a photo of the morning view. Later, while he was out playing pool, he sent another message, reporting to my wife. She playfully replied that she couldn't see him in the picture, so he immediately sent a selfie, which made her blush. But what she didn't know was his friends were mocking him at that moment. They called their relationship a fake marriage and laughed that his wife clearly didn't care about him. Hearing this, the husband was furious. He stepped into the hallway and called her. He lied, saying he felt pitiful because his friends were making fun of him for having such an uncaring wife. He then claimed he had had too much to drink and asked her to come pick him up. As she made her way to the club, she thought to herself that the debt she owed him for saving her 6 years ago had already been repaid. She walked into the pool hall just as her husband was about to take a shot.
老公，
She walked over to him and said it was so late and told him to come home and rest with her. The husband smirked victoriously, took her bag and let her out, leaving his stunned friend speechless. In front of his jealous rival, the billionaire pulled his wife into a passionate kiss, leaving the other man utterly humiliated. Defeated, the rival walked away. The husband apologized for acting on impulse, but she said it was okay. He then told her that since they were married, they should try to live a good life together. She asked if their marriage was really a coincidence, afraid he was just settling for her. But he looked her in the eyes and confessed that it wasn't a coincidence and that he'd liked her for a long time. Stunned by his words, a small smile appeared on her face as she told him it was time to go home. At work the next day, she couldn't stop thinking about his confession. She found an old social media post of his from 6 years ago with a photo and a caption about wanting to see the northern lights with her. Just then, her mother called. The woman was cold and distant, but her mother's voice on the phone triggered a painful memory. She suddenly remembered the day her mother abandoned her as a little girl, saying she couldn't take 2 daughters when she remarried. The young girl cried and begged her mother not to leave, but her mother walked away, leaving her heartbroken and alone. After her mother hung up, the woman went to the CEO's office. He handed her a cup of tea and said the meeting with the French client was just an excuse.
我就是给你泡一杯茶，想见一下你，沈太太。
He teased her, saying not to worry, no one would come in even if he did something more, and she blushed. He smiled and said he'd do his best to make her fall for him. As a first step, he gave her a gift and said he'd prepare surprises for her every day to keep their marriage alive. Flustered but happy, she accepted the gift and went back to work. But she didn't know her husband had a medical report showing she had partial amnesia specifically about him, and he was determined to make her remember him with a new identity. Just as she stepped into the elevator, a creepy colleague cornered her and offered to help her career if she would sleep with him. When she told him to get lost because she had a husband, he mocked her, saying she was trying to seduce the CEO. The woman, enraged, slapped him across the face. The man, furious, threatened to get her fired. The woman started a voice recording and told him to repeat everything he'd just said. Suddenly, police officers burst into a meeting room and arrested the man for sexual harassment. He was shocked to see her standing there. He tried to lie, claiming he was only warning her not to bother the CEO. But the billionaire calmly said there was no need to warn her, she was his wife. Her ex-boyfriend violently grabbed her in the parking garage, but just as he tried to force himself on her, another man yanked him away. It turned out her troubles had started earlier that day in the boardroom when her manager publicly accused her of lying in front of the entire company, including the powerful CEO, Mr. Shen. The manager was confident the CEO would take his side, but he never expected what happened next. The woman calmly played a recording that exposed the manager trying to blackmail her into sleeping with him for a promotion. Furious, the CEO fired the manager on the spot. As security dragged the screaming man out, the CEO smashed his cup in anger and ordered his assistant to investigate him thoroughly and make sure he ends up in jail. Later, he found the woman and told her to wait for him in his car. He told her he wanted to be the first person she turns to for help and invited her to see the Northern Lights, a trip she's always dreamed of. But she pulled away, sadly saying he must be thinking of the girl he knew 6 years ago, not her. After she left the car, her ex-boyfriend confronted her. She insisted they were over and that she was with someone new, but he refused to listen and attacked her. That's when the CEO stepped in to save her. He threatened the ex, warning him that a public scandal would ruin his family's plans for an arranged marriage. Then he made a shocking declaration, telling his rival that Wen Chao was his person. The ex scoffed that she was just a simple employee, but the CEO said she wasn't and that he'd soon find out why. Moments later, the woman waited by the elevator when the doors opened. The CEO was inside, and it all started with a phone call from her own mother. Her mother threatened to go to her husband's ailing grandmother if she didn't come to a family dinner. Knowing she had no choice, she agreed. She was left alone after her sister faked a stomachache and rushed off with their mother and the sister's new boyfriend, leaving Wen Chao abandoned. Earlier that night at home with her husband, the powerful CEO, Mr. Shen, she had apologized for her ex-boyfriend's violent behavior in the parking garage. But the incident had stirred his jealousy. He asked her a question that cut her to the core. Did she ever truly love her ex? She confessed that at one time she loved him so much she thought she would never love anyone else again. He immediately accused her of marrying him for revenge, but she insisted their rushed marriage was only to make his grandmother happy. He pulled her close and asked if she'd grown used to being with him. Then he told her to sleep in his room tonight.
挺好的。
Meanwhile, her ex-boyfriend was at a party, drinking heavily. His friend told him his methods were all wrong and offered him a special drug that makes any woman compliant. The friend boasted that he'd given some to Wen Chao before, and the ex-boyfriend froze, realizing with horror that his friend was the one who went to the hotel room with Wen Chao that fateful night, not him. Back at the dinner, her mother introduced her sister's new boyfriend, who immediately tried to take her hand. She pulled away, unnerved. After her sister's fake illness, the family left, and the man followed Wen Chao outside into the snow. He told her he knew she and her sister didn't get along and that taking him would be the perfect revenge. He told her she was wasting her soft lips on words when they could be used for other things. Then he grabbed her and dragged her toward his car.